What's going on, everybody? My name is Jake with Code 4 Defense, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Armasight Sidekick 640 thermal monocular. This thing has had quite the buzz for the past, I don't know, almost a year actually. It was released at SHOT Show in 23, and the price point of it really drew a lot of people's attention. It was slated to be released kind of in May-ish, and then it just kept getting pushed back until recently when it was released. Now I've had this thing in our shop for about, I'd say a week now, and been playing with it, kind of some of the different features. I just wanted to give you a very brief overview of it since there's not a lot of information about it online right now. And then we're gonna do a more in-depth review as well as some other things with this. I've got some projects building that I'm pretty excited about for it. So kind of just a quick overview of it. Here up front, you can see it's got this really nice rubber lens cap that kind of like grips around the lens itself. It's got like a notch kind of around the objective lens right there. It fits into it nicely. Protect the front lens aperture so that it doesn't get damaged at all. Here you can see the front lens of it. A pretty generous size lens for a thermal monocular, especially a 640 core. However, not as big as some, and that's going to lead to some drawbacks that we'll talk about here in just a minute. Also up front, you can see it's got a USB-C charging cable there, or excuse me, port. This doesn't actually charge. However, you can run external power with it, and it has onboard video and photo capability. This is where you would download that to the computer. Also up front here, you can see the battery compartment, which houses one CR123 battery. In addition, Armasight includes, in the bag that it comes in, not only the eye cup right there, but let's see if I can find it here. A battery extender carrying case there, the USB-C cable as well. So this battery extender allows you to put two CR123 batteries or a larger rechargeable, I think it's 18650 or whatever it is, battery, and that's all spelled out in the user manual. As you come back here, the kind of main UI of the monocular sits right here, and that gives you kind of three buttons. You've got your forward button right here, you've got your center button, and then you've got your rear button. So you've got this forward press button right here, and this, if you long hold, will change the color palettes, and I'll cycle through them for you on screen right now. But you've got the standard white hot, which is, that's what it comes up with initially. Black hot, which highlights hotter objects black. You've got the rainbow color palette, which, you know, is pretty much useless, but it seems to be included in every thermal for some reason, probably just because of the movie Predator. And then you've got a sepia type color and the target mode, which is a hot with a highlight of orange on the hottest thing on the screen. So the idea behind that is if you've got like a creature or a hot object, it'll highlight it orange so that it's easier to pick up when you're scanning. This center button is what allows you to cycle through all of the menus. You long hold it to turn the device on. It takes probably, I don't know, I would say 6-7 seconds for the device to boot up fully. You hold it down for probably 3 seconds and then it starts to boot on. You can see right there. And then it'll do the first nuke, and then you can see the device is on right there. So again, this center button right here is kind of what allows you to cycle through your menu options. Short press to get into the right-hand side menu, and then it's gonna give you three options. It's gonna, once you select that option, it's gonna allow you to go through your default settings for kind of like your, I would say gradient settings and contrast settings, things like that, that are going to help you in different environments. It's got default, it's got forest, detect, which is that kind of highlighted mode, indoors, and then sky and sea. I've just been leaving it on default, and then I changed the settings for that myself. If you exit out of that and go down, you can go to the brightness level, and then if you go down one more, you can do kind of your rotating for your screen. You can change that to auto or inverted or whatever it is, and that changes the orientation of the numbers that you see on the screen right there. Hold to get out of that menu. Now hold again the center button, and it's going to bring up the main menu. Short press to get into each one of these settings. And then you can see you can adjust the contrast, you can adjust the sharpness, brightness, gamma. Not fully sure of what all of that entails. Somebody much smarter than me can probably answer that. Gain, which is kind of like, just the amount of brightness in certain aspects. Auto for the shutter, so as it kind of saturates the sensor with heat, it'll reset itself, and you can change this to auto. You can see a countdown right now in the middle of the screen. Once it gets to 0, it's gonna reset the shutter, reset the heat on the sensor, and give you a crisper image. I just leave that to auto because it just does it for you. And then you can do picture-in-picture, which gives you a zoomed image as well as the main image itself. Long hold to get out of that. Go down and you can see it's got the preview for any of the recorded files that you have. Compass, you can change the compass settings. This setting right here is going to be one of the most important, and that allows you to change the margins. So you can adjust up, down, left, or right the margin, and we'll talk more about that here in just a minute. Long hold to get out of that, and then you can go about, it just kind of gives you the firmware, all the different things related to the hardware and stuff like that. Long hold to get out of that, and that's kind of the main extended menu. As we move back on the device, you can see the rear button. Oh, I should mention this front button right here. If you short press it, it'll increase the zoom on the device itself. So it goes up to, I think, like 8x zoom, but to be quite frank, it's pretty useless given the amount of yards it's sampling per 1 pixel. It's really just not helpful at all, to be honest. This rear button is what toggles on and off the record function on the device. So short press to toggle on the record function, short press to toggle it off, and then if you hold it down, if you hold this short button or the rear button down, it takes a picture of whatever you're looking at and saves it as an image. As you come back, you can see it's got the ocular or the diopter, which allows you to adjust the essentially adjust the focus onto the digital screen itself. This front portion right here has a gross focus for the actual image sensor to view. So it's basically got a focus to infinity, and then you can focus to closer objects to get them in focus. That's kind of a brief overview of the function and form of it. The overall construction of it, very much like the FLIR Breach. Armasight was, I believe, Armasight acquired FLIR a number of years ago, and I think we all liked the FLIR Breach for its small form factor, its extreme durability, and the kind of unique ability for it to adjust its margins, much like more clip-on thermal objects, or excuse me, clip-on thermal monoculars. And if you've been looking for the 640 core Breach, this is 100% it. It's a very durable, robust, lightweight, compact unit that is going to be perfect for scanning. This is, I mean, I'll be pretty honest with you, it's a little bit disappointing in the, resolution. I figured for a 640 core monocular, I would see a little bit better resolution. And I think what it sacrificed in resolution, it made up for in field of view. So instead of using those pixels for like a concentrated sampling of a more tighter thermal image, it broadened that so that you could get a wider field of view out of it. And I've been playing thermal footage for you in different environments for you to look at. And up to about 100 yards, it does a very good job of showing what object you're looking at and allowing you to target ID. Past that, it's going to fall off considerably. So I'll play a video right now of me walking out to 25 yards, and then 75 yards, 100 yards, and 150 yards. And you can see, you know, the further that I go out, the harder it is to identify specifically what I am, other than I'm a heat signature when I go even further out. Now, you could still see something at 300 yards. You'll just never be able to know what it was. And I'll compare this right now. I'll put a video of my ML19, which is a 320 core thermal monocular by iRay. And you can see it's actually pretty close in clarity to the 640 core. So something that has half the resolution does just about as good in terms of the picture, but it has about half the field of view. And I think that's where, you know, the Armasight Sidekick 640 is going to shine for you is this is meant to be a wide field of view, helmet mounted or scanning monocular. And for that purpose, it's going to do extremely well, especially for the price point of $3,000. There's not really anything on the market that touches it right now in that 640 resolution. And I'm going to be building a adapter arm for our very popular NVB 58 bridge, which is going to allow you to mount this thermal monocular as well as any other ones that use this mini rail interface. And I have a prediction right now. I'm going to use it extensively coming up, but if you've been looking for that perfect kind of dual band thermal PVS 14 setup, I think this is actually going to be it for you. I think we're finally going to see what we've been looking for in the ability to co-align the images to about as good as you can get two different systems to align in your eyes. So I'm very excited to get that done. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're interested in that. That's going to be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. Other than that, if you have any comments on the Sidekick, please leave them down in the comments below. We've been, like I said, extremely excited to get this in. And while again, quite frankly, the image was slightly disappointing when I first got it. After playing with the settings, I was able to crisp the image up considerably, although it wasn't necessarily what I thought it was going to be. Now, is that a bad thing? I don't think so. Given the price point of this device, I think it's still a home run by Armasight, and I think you're going to see a ton of these hit the market. Given how durable these things are, I mean, you can just feel like compared to an MH25 or the ML19, this thing is leaps and bounds better in terms of durability. It's also all US made and sourced, which is a huge bonus. And yeah, this thing is going to be extremely popular for Armasight. So I'm going to have a more in-depth video on this coming up. This is just kind of the overview to get you guys another data point if you're trying to make a decision as to whether or not to buy one of these coming in the new years. But this is going to be the one to watch in 2024. It's a very cool monocular. Again, leave any comments down below. I'll see if I can answer them for you. You guys stay safe, and we will see you on the next one.